Hey guys, Ethan here. I wanted to do a video today just talking about how I have my DWM set up and specifically the bar because I did get a comment asking about that and I figured I might as well address it. So this is going to be pretty short, but it should just explain if something is unclear. So first thing is that I'm using Gentoo, which basically means that I'm able to use the package manager, which is Portage, to apply patches and my config to my suckless software. So the first thing I wanted to cover was the patches, or actually it's the config for my DWM. So I'm going to go ahead and enter. And if you symlink the config file and add a .h at the end, you have syntax highlighting similar to this, while normally it would just be black and white. So that's just a little tip. So here are my fonts and colors, and I also do show a top bar and show bar. You basically, if you wanted to use a setup similar to mine, you'd want both show bar and top bar to be enabled because you want this bar up top. And then this is my colors, and I'll move down just a little bit throughout here. My keybinds, all of this stuff, by the way, is available on my GitLab, which we should go to right now. So it's gitlab.com/ethannij/ethannij.portage, which is where you'll find everything in my /etc/portage. So for example, if you go to saved config and you go to X11 window manager, you'll find my DWM config file, which I do have to update, but if we go here to the not symlink version, it's all right here. So if you are looking, that's where you'll find it. So that being said, now normally your DWM bar is just going to show these things in the middle, and then it's going to say DWM 6.2 or whatever version DWM is. And the way that we actually add information up here, because in this way you can see my network up, down, CPU usage percent, RAM usage percent. You can see the day, or what day of the week it is, the month, the date of the month, and then the time. So the way that we actually do this, I'm going to open another terminal and we're going to make it extra big, is a program called Conky. Now, here are the use flags I have with it, and I think this is all that you'll need. Xinorama, which is what I'm using for multiple screens, so I'm guessing you're probably going to need that. What this is for is, if you look at the config, so I'm going to do conky rc right here. This is the config, and what it is it shows, let's find it actually, the conky.txt, which just basically shows the up, and then it does up speed, and then my interface, down speed, my interface, CPU, then my CPU. So it just goes through and it gets all of these usage percentages and then the time. So if you want to set up yours exactly like mine is, this is how you do it. And then to actually run it, if you go to xinitrc, it should be in here somewhere. Yeah, so the actual command in my xinitrc is conky and then a pipe while read -r and then a semicolon, because that's the end of that, and then do xset root -name and then reply, and I'm pretty sure reply is the variable that DWM looks for the bar, and then finally done, and then have this forked to the background. Now we have a few more things to go through because I wanted to kind of cover everything. So that's the bar, but I have a few more things that I do. So if you look in my scripts and then you go to setres.sh, here is my x rotate and resize, or it might be resize and rotate, whatever, x render if you want to call it. This is basically how my displays are set up. I have 4 displays, one on my left, middle, right, and then another further to the right. So this is how I set them up. You can see I have like the -- rate, and then resolution, and then the position. So the way that I do my displays is I'll have one, basically, so here's the very left one. So the X on this one is 0, and the Y is 180 because it's slightly, it's lower resolution, so it's kind of in the middle. It's like in the middle height-wise and resolution-wise. So I'll set this to 180, and my main monitor is set to 1920, and basically just, if you wanted to do what I'm doing, the way that you do it is you take the horizontal, so you take the very left monitor is 0 on the X, and the monitor after that, you take the horizontal and you just add it. And then the monitor after that, you add the first horizontal and the second horizontal, and you put that, and you just go so on and so forth. It's not hard. You can also use the dash dash right of dash dash left of, and I believe there's also a below and above that works as well. That's just how I have mine set up. And I have one more thing that's kind of unique, which is the start DWM. I believe you can find this on Gentoo Wiki. And what this is it's just a little script, and the point of it is that when you typically do the keyboard shortcut to kill DWM, and I'm pretty sure mine right now is it's Shift Alt R. When you do that command, it'll just kill it'll kill DWM and take you right back to the terminal or the TTY. But if you make a change, like if you make a change and recompile, and you want to apply those changes, if you use this script, so if I'll show you my XInitRC again. Instead of running DWM at the end of your dbus launch, blah, 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 if you do the script, it'll start DWM normally, but when you go to kill it with Shift, Alt, and R in my case, it's actually going to reload it. So it's not even going to close your programs. Everything will stay open. But the only difference is that all of your windows will go back to the middle screen. That's the only annoying thing. But it'll apply your changes. And then just for the rest of this, you see I use Feh to set my backgrounds. So it's just dash dash bg dash fill and then the location to the picture I want, xrdb dash merge, and then my dot resources. I actually use this because if I want my cursor theme and my some colors to work on every single program, sometimes they use X resources, so this command basically allows X resources to function that way. And the very last thing that I wanted to cover is my my D menu, because you see if I do, I'm going to go to a new window, if I do my command for it, which is Alt space, it pulls up this middle type window, and then I can type, I can say Chromium, and then it'll open up my browser. So that's the way this one functions. And I wanted to go over quickly what patches and configs I needed to apply for that to work. So I believe X11 MISC is the directory in this case. That's ls. And we go to D menu. The way that this works is D menu is actually controlled by the DWM config, at least in my case. So the majority of this is actually unrelated. You don't need any of this. You may need actually some of this, but in my case, I don't think a lot of it applies. What you really want to be looking for, though, is patches, X11 MISC, and we're going to go ahead and head into D menu. So a couple of patches I have in here: case insensitive, D menu center, and prefix completion. So what that means is when I start, if I type Chromium all caps, it'll work. And if I type vert space manager, it'll also complete. So I can basically type however I want as long as the letters match up, because if I put a random letter in there, it's not going to work. But if I space them out however I want, they'll work, and that's the idea behind it. So it just makes it a lot more convenient, because you don't have to be like a robot being like, I would like a Chromium browser, right? Like you can just say and then you got it right there, and you can go between the arrow keys. So it's a lot more forgiving, and also it being in the middle of your screen, like dead center, rather than being on the top where your bar is an added bonus, because really there isn't a lot of room up here to begin with, and you'll only see a couple items up top, not to mention that it'll remove everything up here. And I've had a lot of times before I set this up using DWM where I'd accidentally hit the D menu key on another screen, and it would be up on the top bar and I wouldn't notice it, and then I'd be trying to type and I'd be like, why can't I interact? And I realized, oh, D menu's open, I have to hit escape. So doing it this way, having it pop up front and center, is a lot more, I guess, just user friendly, and I prefer it. But with that being said, everything that I've listed here, like all of the patches, config files, etc., are all listed on my GitHub. And I guess I should also mention, any config in my .configs would be found at gitlab.com/ethannij, ethannij dot, and then .files. And that will take you to my .files, and I'm actually going to update them right after I upload this video. So if you manage to catch it in like the first 5 minutes, they might not be fully up to date, but they will be. And there's instructions written here. You just have to git clone them and then use stow. So if you don't have stow, you'll see right here, super tiny program, just grab it and you're done. So anyways, I've talked for long enough. This is really just a basic how my system is set up for those who are wondering about any specific part of it. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or you can join my Discord server, which is the link for that in the description. If you want to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, so that way it actually pops up when it's uploaded, and leave a video if you liked it. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.